all those crabs are probably migrating back to where they're supposed to be, and they've got all these oyster farms there now. So it's like, what the fuck? They're like the natives come back, like the Aboriginals come back saying, "Hey, you're on our land," you know. It's like the oyster farmers are there doing their oysters, which they shouldn't be doing oysters there. They're for crabs, those areas, but in Coffin Bay. But crabs are coming back to say, "Well, what's the go with these oysters?" You know, this is our little spot. We come to, to mate and make our babies, and that. All the animals in the ocean have certain areas they go to that. Over the millions of years, they've learned that that's their sort of place to go to and do certain things. But yeah, I mean, then you've got us that do our certain things, and we're sort of like, we're not like the natives. We're like someone who's risen above that to civilization. You know, we're not native anymore, whereas those crabs are native to that part of that area. The oysters there aren't. They're sort of introduced. So, but that's how. If everything was just native in the whole world without any sort of civilization, then eventually it would eat itself away. It would all die. So, yeah, you need that bit of introduced. This is what migration's for, to introduce new species and new. There's quite a few different reasons. It's hard. No, there's probably a million different reasons why you introduce different species to different areas. Like the cane toad's an introduced species, and that's there to change the landscape a bit. You know, things have to change over time. It doesn't just remain the same. You know, we've actually, everything we're doing at the moment is a product of, Aboriginals call it dream time, where you've dreamt about what you're going to do, then you go do it. It's sort of like a shared consciousness of the future, and it's not always without conflict, because the world's not always just peaceful. We expect it to be peaceful and pleasant, but there's always things that challenge us, and we're sort of, a lot of the time, we're the catalyst to challenge the world to rise above its current state, so it'll slowly evolve. You know, that those crabs are trying to learn more about oysters now and more about us to change their behaviour. And that's just the way the world works. It's always going to be that way. We're just as natural, really, as anything else, really. I mean, we're natives as well, but we're just civilised, so we don't tend to mix with the natural world primarily. We're all about the industrialised world, so it's a different state of humanity, but it's still natural. It's just we've learned different processes to create comforts, and it's sort of like putting on clothing. What we do, it's not shame. It's just protection, really, from the elements and protecting our bodies, and I think that's why we enjoy going out in the elements. Some of us go camping and brave the elements and jump off cliffs and swim deep in the ocean and do all these sort of things to feel a bit more in touch with that primal sort of thing within us all. But yeah, those spider crabs are nice to eat. I don't know what he's talking about. They're just like a mud crab. They're just a bit longer. They're not as fat. You know, the meat's more tender and thin, in the shells, but it's still just as much meat on them as a regular crab. But what that oyster farmer should do is have two businesses, where when the crabs come in, he could sell the crabs and then go back to selling his oysters, and make the two industries, I suppose. I mean, or he could just enjoy having crabs around and let them live their lives. But so that's why we eat them, because it's their journey to evolve. They have to learn to survive, and all of nature. I mean, a lot of nature really relies on sympathy to survive. That we're sympathetic towards them, and it's like when puppy dogs look in your eyes like that. They're trying to get sympathy, so you'll be kind to them. Which is a normal thing. Even with little children. That's why we don't just go around hacking the heads off. It's because they look so beautiful and adorable, and we love them, and it's like love protects us in a lot of ways. So yeah. anyway, yeah, I'm interested in how the ocean um, the ocean basically is like a life support system for different species that can't survive on land. So it's always trying to. The ocean has thoughts. The ocean thinks. It's always thinking, what can I do to make the ocean better? It's always thinking that way. So just like us out here, the air out here has thoughts. The air thinks, and we respond to it. So yeah, a lot of the time our thoughts come from air that's going through our body, and we're breathing in. We go breathe in, clear our mind, and then we get all the new thoughts, that are there. So yeah, because thoughts come from energy processes within different cells and different atoms, and air carries thoughts. It comes from all sorts of places. So yeah, it's amazing ecosystem, the world, how it all provides, and we've learned to adapt to that. We're like we're becoming gods in a way. Like slowly over time. Whereas back in the day, like God Ra, who got hacked down by aliens or whatever happened to him, he's like that pioneering the way, and then like he's had to go through a change and a process to become superpowered from there. So God Ra was a god, a god on earth, physical god. Now he's, whether it's me or I believe it's me, but then I've gone through this process, going through as Christ and all these other people to become a superpower. So I've helped develop civilization to actually go from being a god to a Superman. So, and it might come a time that Superman dies or transitions or something changes there too, to become maybe something else like Santa Claus or some bloody thing. I mean, who knows? I'm hoping it's something really lovely and beautiful, and the world of violence is sort of forgotten about. That this world of violence is about developing superpower. That's all it's really about. So they might blame me for that, but it's just part of the natural progression of evolution, and now people are becoming more like Ra, more like physical gods. They're all developing that, which I pioneered back then as Ra, and then this period for them is becoming like Ra, and I'm becoming more like a Kal-El or something, like a Superman. I may not look at physically my body, but it's a process happening off-world. It's not on Earth really. It's sort of in another dimensional sort of framework. So anyway, that's just how I believe. If people are worried about it, it's just part of natural progression of life. Ra was challenged to become more than what he was. He got to his point, his peak, and that was it. So he's moving on now. So yeah. Anyway, have a good day. Over now.